Best open source release in 2023. I know we are almost 3 weeks into 2024, but what were the, in your opinion, greatest updates or new releases in the open source world? Let's discuss. I love discussions like this because most of the time you learn about something new or may come back to something you used in the past. I love the development in the Python language because the GL gave me many bad hours in the last years, and I hope to see it getting improved a lot. DocuSeal, open source DocuSign. Get github.com docusealco/github.com docuseal. Damn, son, was looking for something like this. Thanks. Open source has needed an answer to this for a lot of years. This is awesome. This tool looks nice, but what's the pro plan and has the free plan all the features you need? Reminds me of the payment model for self-hosted Overleaf Share LaTeX. The self-hosted free plan has the features I need, but I will still either donate to the project when they accept donations or use Gref's els.io/.io/ to run DocuSeal. Det klassen did. We just made the Cheshire Cat compatible with Ollama. Cheshire-cat AI/core. In the cat, you can write custom agent with tools on top of the LLM, and the RAG system is built in with Qdrant. Also, there are WordPress-style hooks. All of this already Dockerized. Jan.ai is another interface for generative text neural networks. Subjectively, it turned out to be one of the most useful open-source projects in 2023 for me. I can't remember such projects in recent years that could be used as both a tool to solve everyday tasks and a framework for solving work tasks. Moreover, the developers of this project have well-organized development processes, which are interesting and informative to follow. What's up with that app? I downloaded the latest release, ran it, and even without loading in any models or doing anything, the app started eating up lots of resources. Hi, thanks for letting us know. It shouldn't hog resources when idle Jan doesn't hog RAM, and we're investigating your report here. github.com/janhq1650 gipcock/janhjan issues 1650. If you can provide more diagnostic info for us, we'd greatly appreciate it. You can download neural network models from within the program, Hub button, or add your own. Additional models can be downloaded from Hugging Face using the GGUF format. Edit. Oh, I didn't understand your question. The program is a bit raw, so yes, starting the chat without a model may cause strange effects. My brain is telling me that when an app that is idle takes up CPU power for seemingly no reason, it's a red flag. I don't know what to answer to this, because after you launch a program recommended by some random internet user, it's already too late to think about whether the program is malicious or not. If there was a built-in Trojan, it would have already stolen your data. You could detect this by having an antivirus monitor specific folders, for example, where saved browser passwords are stored, or tracking the program's actions from its start using a tool like Process Monitor, but not by monitoring resource consumption. If it was a hidden mining program, it wouldn't be rational to reveal itself so quickly. It would be smarter to disguise it as Nitro, which is a component of the program used by Jan to work with neural network models and load the computer during model operation so that resource consumption remains unnoticeable. I can understand the logic of your red flag, but I don't agree with it because my experience is different. From my point of view, Jan is a new program and has some bugs at the moment, but it is constantly improving. The difference between the current version 0.4.4 and the previous one, 0.4.3, is noticeable. Moreover, it uses Electron for interface display, which requires a lot of RAM and sometimes loads the CPU in the most unexpected situations. Where to this? Because after you launch a program recommended by some random internet user, it's already too late to think about whether the program is malicious or not. If there was a built-in Trojan, it would have already stolen your data. You could detect this by having an antivirus monitor specific folders, for example, where saved browser passwords are stored, or tracking the program's actions from its start using a tool like Process Monitor, but not by monitoring resource consumption. If it was a hidden mining program, it wouldn't be rational to reveal itself so quickly. It would be smarter to discu. Okay, we did a deep dive. CPU hogging is only occurring in scenario C, for which we are adding a settings config to give users more control over how many cores to use. A. Windows users, no GPU. Jan is idle, no model started. B. Windows users, no GPU. Model is started, loaded into RAM swap space, but not inferencing. C. Windows users, no GPU. Model is started and actively inferencing, actively utilizing swap space RAM. If users are finding that Jan is hogging CPU in scenarios A and B, please give us the machine specs and a way to repro this. We consider this a critical issue and it will be prioritized. Thank you for such a detailed explanation, but I had a different situation. I assumed that Deadlabor might have something similar. I didn't think someone could see the system resources indicator and decide it was just Jan. I had a different one, Windows 11 RTX 3060. The strange behavior happened at the first launch of 0.4.2. When I started Jan, I immediately decided to print something in the chat and send it, not realizing that I needed to download models. I thought they would load automatically, and the hub button is in an unobvious place. I don't remember exactly what was selected by default in the list of models. It was probably empty. And after pressing enter, unexpectedly, the select box for choosing models became highlighted and started appearing and disappearing with the list of models, literally flickering. Then I tried to close Jan, but the interface just froze. Next, I opened the Windows Task Manager and saw that one of the Jan.exe processes was consuming about 70% CPU, as well as rapidly increasing the amount of memory used in RAM by tens of megabytes per second. I forcibly closed all processes, restarted Jan, downloaded models through Hub, and the situation did not repeat itself. But unfortunately, another type of bug slightly interfered with the model selection menu. In the chat, if I switched to a different model, I would only get one response from the new model. Then the first selected model would be loaded, and it was visible. The menu would select exactly that one. In 0.4.4, this is fixed. There is no more of this problem. I am currently using Jan daily. Thank you for your program. This is jaw-dropping. Medusa's new update for MenesaTwitter.com's variablevic/status 1747231, the Next.js e-commerce starter. Second this, docs are incredible. APIs work out of the box for admin panel and storefront. This is a wonderful project. Lalisnal Grok.io as an open source sharing platform instead of using ngrok. What is this? It kind of sounds like something similar to P2P file sharing, sort of like LimeWire back in the day, but more secure and probably more reliable. More comparable to ngrok or other tunneling solutions. requoch/github.com/spitman/awesome tunneling. Xerox allows you to quickly, easily, and securely share anything locally from files to APIs, webhooks, TCP UDP tunnels, etc., all without having to worry about NAT, port forwarding, or in general configuring the local network, as it makes an outbound connection from your local environment. My general opinion is that Xerox is a platform or set of primitives that would make it much easier to build a solution/application such as LimeWire. It's the best open source project I've seen so far. Best features, best documentation, best communication. Every update, even with breaking changes, is so smooth I can't believe it each time. How do you use this self-hosted tool? Like, do you get a remote server on AWS or GCS or hosts these locally on your network? If so, how do you handle downtime and the expensive cost of these machines? I personally host Imic and Nextcloud on a Raspberry Pi 4. I've never experienced any downtime so far because my internet connection rarely cuts out, and the same goes for electricity. Cost-wise, I already had a fiber optic subscription before starting hosting, so it doesn't cost me anything extra. The electricity usage is minimal, akin to charging a phone 24/7. But how do you handle the issue of browsing through these pics when not connected to your home network, for example, when you are on your friend's or relative's house and you want to show them pics. My main concern is the remote access because normal people doesn't have public IP for their home network and I travel quite a bit. That's why. I don't have a static public IP either. Therefore, I expose the instances I want to access externally using Cloudflare tunnels. You're just going to need a domain name. SSL is free through Cloudflare. youtube.com/watch. Here's a tutorial by DBTech that covers how to set it up. I just have Docker installed on my computer. No expensive hardware needed. Okay, so you mean that all these images are locally stored on your hard drive of your PC. Then if you want to browse these images on your mobile, how do you do so? At that point, you can download the Image app and put your computer's IP address as the server endpoint. I didn't know this was a thing. I've just read on it, and it appears to be a photo and video backup solution. I'm a little confused though. Do I need a personal NAS setup in order to use this effectively? /github.com/upscale/upscale in a /upscale open source AI image upscaler. I tried this. It's just as good as the paid Topaz image upscaler as far as I can tell. Second this. Can't wait for the cloud release. best/github.com/Facebook, github.com/Facebook's Docusaurus. Best document management app. We use it for our SaaS, formnx.com. Wow, looks like a great step up from something like e.g. Sphinx and RTD. IDK how Markdown became the uncontested world champion in the DocSite arena, but I find this supremacy to be a major bummer. Maybe MDX makes it better? You can put full components right in your Markdown. http.mdxjs.com. This definitely makes it worse, Limfeo, but I absolutely love your spirit. So what do you prefer over MD? I personally favor AsciiDoc, but I would honestly be for basically any of the readable as text markup formats. Is there a better name for these? Winning other than Markdown. Markdown's lack of core features has given rise to an extension-driven ecosystem which has utterly fractured the language, forcing the author to write for a specific target converter in far more cases than that same author would have to if they were simply using a stronger markup standard. They've been around for a number of years now. Definitely my go-to standard anytime I need to create a documentation site. Just discovered it in 2024, but llama.cpp was released early 2023, and it's amazing. Llama.file is even cooler. LoxyLB, Cloud Native Load Balancer. How's it compare to MetalLB and/or KubeVeep? MetalLB offers just the K8's controller part. It uses IPVS as LB. LoxyLB uses eBPF-based LB, which performed better. I didn't try KubeV, but I guess it is same as MetalLB. Synfig and Blender for me. I use it a lot. Digger, an open-source alternative to HashiCorp's Terraform Enterprise. Thanks /github.com/diggerhq. Or Digger. When we first released it back in early 2023, we weren't even sure this is what people need. It was just a simple GitHub action. Thanks in large part to open source, r/open source, Digger is today where it is. Thank you all here. P.S. We always look for contributors, even if it's just filling an issue or any other way. Typest, a new markup-based typesetting. I use it to replace LaTeX for school. I would have to disagree, as in the current state it is not worth adopting even in academia. But I am more than excited for its future, as it is substantially easier to write than LaTeX, regardless of the flavor. This looks pretty interesting. Could be good tool for writing university homework assignments, but not sure about bigger documents. GitHub.com, the security house, Acto 8x security. Grabs coffee. There's some cool shit in here. I know how I'm going to waste some time. Thanks all, and OP. Image. Exactly my thoughts too. Love finding new cool stuff. GitHub.com/refinedev, refine v4 release. Open source React meta framework for building CRUD apps. Here is a detailed refine.dev/blog, refine-v4 announcement, what is new in v4 post on v4 release. Pretty cool new stuff here. That's the exact reason I posted it. Found like 5 things I would try out soon. Yes, thank you OP for the gift of this post. I guess this should be a quarterly or monthly trend. There is too much stuff happening in the open source community to keep track of. The new perldoc.perl.org class syntax that was added to Perl. I never expected someone posting something Perl related under my post. But yes, it looks like a good improvement to the language, but I'm wondering if there are still many users of Perl who write more than small scripts. I never expected someone posting something Perl related under my post. I thought that might be the case, so that was a good reason for posting it. I'm wondering if there are still many users of Perl who write more than small scripts. Usage of the language is certainly falling, but there are still a number of us who maintain large and complex Perl codebases. Perl, I think Booking.com has one of the largest Perl dev shops around. There are Slack GitHub.com bhbcm/bcncms. Microsoft's github.com/Microsoft/semantic kernel is one of my favorite releases from 2023. We are using it to build a RAG pipeline. Combine that with github.com/sharp llama-sharp, also released in 2023, and you can run local AI in C# apps. github.com/langchain-ai/langchain deserves a mention as well for integration frameworks released in 2023, but we likely won't be utilizing it. I have prepared a RC, or a JS state management library for React that brings a fresh approach. Looking for some feedback and contributions. I use it in my private projects and it is very comfortable. You and I github.com/github.com/yuriyak away. SL github.com/wavesyncs, hammer github.com wavesonics/hammer editor. Looks like a great tool for D&D DMs. Class. Vibenext.com. Personalization of GitHub pull requests to save time while reviewing. Also tells who I should ask to review my code when I raise a pull request.